Thank you very much, Madam Chair, dear colleagues. We all live in a world that moves faster than people can even interpret it. And basic standards, such as international law, organizations, and rules, are going under law of power. As of economy, public debate is now full of terms such as inflation, fiscal space, primary surplus, productivity, competitiveness, debt sustainability, and purchasing power. These are no longer technical expressions reserved for economists. They shape the daily life of every household. But yet, for many citizens, they remain abstract, confusing, and even intimidating. The OECD is right to insist that strengthening fiscal literacy is not a luxury, it's a democratic necessity. When people do not understand the basic language of public finance, they are less able to judge policies fairly, less able to protect themselves from misinformation. As the OECD also notes, fiscal literacy helps citizens to decision makers understand how tax and spending choices affect the economy and public debt in the short, medium, and long term. It also underlines that independent institutions and parliamentary budget bodies can play a central role in making these issues understandable, practical, and relevant. And at this point, allow me please to share with you a personal remark from my country. The period 2015-2019, where Greece was into the memoranda, the Greek government then, in which I was a member, I was participating, had a crucial and really important cooperation with OECD within the restrictions and the pressure of Troika in order to adopt certain policies which were provided in its toolkit in order to protect the social and economic rights, to proceed to necessary reforms, basic standards of living for people, and even improve the public sector services and structures. So this challenge nowadays is different for us, is where the gap between macroeconomic narratives and lived social reality remains wide. We have to close this gap and reduce inequalities. And of course, when average wages are tight, housing costs rise, not only in Greece, but in other countries too, and everyday consumption becomes harder. Citizens judge the economy not by the averages and the numbers, but by the supermarket bill, electricity bill, and the rent. And this is not just a social indicator, it is a warning that weak economic understanding can combine with insecurity and frustration and demolish and destroy and reduce the trust in institutions, which is very important. Furthermore, this is precisely where institutional actors matter. The OECD, national fiscal councils, parliamentary budget offices, and similar bodies should not speak only to experts. They should help, as you said, as you mentioned, create a shared civic vocabulary that goes beyond narrow technicalities and focus on the big picture. And the big picture is sustainability, inclusive growth, and wealth which is fairly directed and shared, long-term trade-offs, you also noticed that, and the major pressures society face. The four pillars, of course, that you included in your presentation, short explainers, brief inductions, and digital tools, which is in favor of small and very small enterprises and professionals, and not only the big companies and markets. That is exactly the direction we should pursue. And a parliament, because we are parliamentarians, first of all, can rely on strong, credible, and accessible institutional guidance, is better equipped for crisis in order to face them, and implement policies honestly and widely explained to people. So, Let us treat fiscal literacy as part of democratic resilience. Democracy is a Greek word. In a fast-moving and uncertain world, as I said before in the beginning of this presentation, we all must help bridge the distance between economic complexity and public understanding. Because when citizens understand more, they participate more. They consider that their work is acknowledged and valued and not ignored, and what they produce, of course. And then demand and ask for more rights, social and economic rights, that improve all the conditions for the parts of the chain, the economic and social progress. Because when citizens understand, as I said, more, democracies function better, and international organizations can play a crucial role in also advising, but hearing and listening from each country the needs and the different perspectives that each one has. Thank you very much.